Hello, Amitabha. You can hear me okay? If so, then I will just go ahead. Welcome back to Wednesday sections. I felt especially close to Cebu this time because I'm in Cebu. So you would ask, is after the 120 or after 150 times? Probably. Felt like it's really easy right now. We'll be doing the reading and together. I actually like how Ziming Fazi was conducting it the last time, that by point out a few things in the paragraph. And so we'll go through it because the Pure Land practice or the Pure Amitabha Sutra has been very familiar to all of us. And I also felt that many of us has a lot of, in the Catholic term, miracles. The Buddhists call Kanyin, being connected to the Buddha or being, we will spare a little bit more time to talk about your own practice of Amitabha. Is book number 4 from page 65 to 68. The significance of attendance list in the Amitabha Sutra. I really like how he have said the topic or the title. Attendance list is like, are you enlisted? and how important it is, or what does it mean? What does it mean for us to be in attendance or to be named, to be enlisted in the Amitabha Pure Land? Okay. Here we go. We will call on, I think about maybe 6 or 7 people will be reading, breaking these 4 pages up into sections. So I really like how we pronounce Amitabha. In Chinese, even though the first character is called A, like A Hua, A Tian, right? A Hua, A Ming, but when it's put together to refers to Amitabha Buddha, we pronounce it as O. So it's Omitofo. Just very much like, say, Pachnya, Bore, but the characters is 一般的般若若有事物这样 right? So it's not direct word pronunciations, but it's called the other pronunciations, phonics. So Omitofo is a very beautiful name. Is a beautiful name because it's being connected to the energy of the universe. So each character, Omitofo, is very powerful because we say 六字洪名, Namo Omitofo, taking refuge to Amitabha Buddha. So it's like it's a Buddha take the 6 characters or the chanting of Namo Omitofo, taking refuge to Amitabha Buddha. As a purifications, it's like money juice that would be dropped like a pacifying agents drop into polluted water and would turn the water right away to be pure. So it pacifies our karma. So Omitofo, connecting our heart or our mind, past, present, and future with our body, and connecting our body further to the universe. And in the process of connecting one to the universe, then everyone else is within this home or this frequency. So it's a very powerful chanting, or it's a very powerful 6 characters. And this is a one-stroke paragraphy written by Venerable Master Xing Yun. He has always said that he writes not because he is practicing calligraphy, but he writes because the devotees, beings would need it. So Hom Mi To Fo, Om Mi To Fo. So may we call on the first volunteers to read the first two paragraphs for us.
Yeah,
Thank you, Sir Irving.
The Amitabha Sutra is the Buddhist text that describes an ideal Buddhist land, the Pure Land of ultimate bliss. Pavilions built with the 7 treasures, waters of 8 virtues, ground paved with gold, ponds with fragrant lotuses, parrots that chant the Buddha's name, and exotic plants can all be found in this land. Moreover, it is where people of the highest virtues congregate and a place where one's needs are met with just a single thought. Indeed, the Pure Land of ultimate bliss is an extremely magnificent, tranquil, and beautiful place where life is filled with incomparable happiness and ease. There are no economic difficulties, interference from bad people, political persecutions, romantic entanglements, traffic accidents, or societal conflicts. Since it is such a wondrous and sublime place, many people yearn for the pure land of ultimate bliss and have a single-minded wish to be reborn there.
So being practicing or being hearing the Amitabha Sutra for a long time, right? Or being a Buddhist, actually, Mahayanist Buddhists are very familiar with Amitabha and Guan Yin Bodhisattva. If you would want to highlight a few characteristics or words or keywords here, which would be those that you want to point out for us?
I would say the no economic difficulties, interference, something like that, Sapo, because early on I noticed like when I want to practice, we cannot always practice because we have to do something. We have to work in this life. So those things becomes part of the hindrance to our practice. So unlike in Amitabha's Pure Land, we don't need to worry about these things. So if you really want to practice, then you can just practice. Yeah.
Thank you. Right. I think this is what the United Nations or the world, the world leaders is nurturing or cultivating, so that working very hard for the rest of the world populations, for the sustainable development goal for 2030 or 2015. Right? There's no poverty, and the land is ready for everyone's. When there's no poverty, then it's difficult for people to be bad, to have bad thought. So yes, but on the same token, it also means that we are living in a human world, which is filled with half kindness and half not so kind, good and evil, and half being nice, and the other half being defiled or polluted. So it bring out, I think, yes, it bring out the contradictions from this world and that world, or that world refers to as the Pure Land. It's very interesting because you pointed out right away the human world, and how do we then, right? Now that the next question would be, how do we then turn places that we live to be pure, or how do we make the world a pure land? So this second paragraph, it shows us, right, the world that we live in, and it's normal that there is poverty, it's normal that bad things happen, and it's normal that there is mishap, and that the strong or the powerful people are suppressing. So the powerful people are taking over those that are weaker, and that they are relationships that we couldn't iron out, right? We have always said that being in the human world, that's because there's so much love in us that we are connected and interconnected with everyone else. So we couldn't identify how we feel. Then there is I think traffic we feel the most here in the Philippines, wherever we are, and the conflicts in the different part of the community or the different part of the world. So this is where we live. But yet, there is a world that we look forward, or there is a place that we would want none of this to happen, but be always, the words that was used here is blissful. And it's not just being blissful, but ultimate blissfulness. We want to look at how Venerable Master Xing Yun is going to introduce us to this pure land of ultimate bliss. There are a few things that while we mention the human world, but at the same time, we also want to point it out that the Amitabha Pure Land, or this blissful land of Amitabha, there are a few characteristics. I have always felt that when I'm in Cebu, or actually right here in Tsi'an Temple, I have always felt that this is a pure land. And why is that? Maybe the sun is bright, maybe it's on top of a hill, maybe it's overseeing the Cebu Sea, or the sea, the water. It's just a very, very solemn, and it's just very quiet, and it's full of music with GMC. The choir is singing again today, and Siddhartha is rehearsing. So there's lots of music around. And beautiful. We have people, our devotees, being here, taking care of the landscape, the plant, the glass, the lotus pond. The sutra graphiology, photographic or graphiologies of a Pure Land. So Buddha has only described the Pure Land to us in words, verbally. Then it was being written in sutra. Then others visualize it to become a painting. So this is one that was found. So this is exactly how a Pure Land would be like as described. There are a few things that we want to take notes of. Did you see the 7 level of pavilions? It come in the front and towards the back, right? So this is the Chinese, I guess, arts aesthetic. So it's not directly proportions, but yet the size of the different building or the pavilions, the items actually means that the distance from how close it is to us and towards the far end. Well, this is like looking out. I think this is what they describe in the ink and brush painting. It shows how wild it is. It doesn't how broad, how wide the visions or the bird's view. So the first thing on the top, well, we see that the chanting of the voice, and each chanting, because it's the chanting of Amitabha names or the Buddha's name. So the chantings come in it being presented in rays of lights, and it was actually being said by those who has recorded being reborn in the Pure Land, and this is what they have described those that they see rays of lights coming out or rays of Buddha's image coming out of the mouth as they chant the Buddha's name, giving out radiating lights with the Buddha's with Buddhas. So that's one. Then we also see, I want to point out because this is how I really feel when I first arrived in Chongqing University in Taiwan. It took me 3 months to get used to the weather because it was like so hot, and there's so much sticky, right? It's so sticky, but yet I would always, I think it's very helpful actually, to contemplate on water when I feel hot. Say for the last whole week, I always contemplate on the 8 virtuous water. So the 8功德水, what effect does it bring? The first virtue is being very clear, is cool, it's cool water, and it's sweet. It's also very soft. Then it is nurturing. So you would always have felt the wetness is coming. It's also being able to quench the thirst and it be able to grow roots. So these are the characteristic of these are the 8 virtues of water that was described in the Amitabha Sutra of the Pure Land. So imagine if we were being born, it would say that we were being born in this lotus pond filled with 8 virtuous water, and that was how we the being in the Pure Land was being manifest and grow out of the lotus bud. Then everyone else, even though they are parrots and birds, but these are not the manifestations of the bad karma. It's not the recontributions of that bad form or ram, but that was because it manifests itself from the chanting of the Buddha's name, just like the ray of lights. So there's auspiciousness, and when you hear a voice coming out of people, then it's always the chantings of the Buddha's name. So it's difficult to grow any bad thought because everyone else around us are doing good things. And that's why in that previous paragraph, it said, right, the second last line, people of the highest virtue congregates. That means 诸善善人聚会一处. So it's only good people is here. So it's difficult to do bad things when you are surrounded by good people. That was pretty much what it meant. So next, may I have the second reader? Or volunteers?
Where is it already, Shifu? At
Thank
which
you.
paragraph?
Is the page coming? A second is a third paragraph now.
The how then can rebirth?
Yes, the left and the right page. Sorry, I did not retype it. I just cut and paste.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. So, how many paragraphs?
Maybe the whole slice, the whole slice.
Okay, so okay.
Yes.
How then? So okay, I'll go. How then can rebirth in the Pure Land be achieved? According to the Amitabha Sutra, a person must practice the 37 factors of enlightenment and be well equipped with the 3 provisions of faith, vow, and practice. In addition, they must not be without wholesome roots or meritorious causes and conditions. As long as they meet these prerequisites, they will be reborn in the Pure Land when they chant the Buddha's name single-mindedly at the end of their life. All things considered, the Amitabha Sutra has a few particularly distinct features to take note of. First, most Buddhist sutras begin with an interlocutor who asks the Buddha a series of questions before the Buddha begins to teach. In the Amitabha Sutra, however, no one asks the Buddha questions concerning the Western land or the Pure Land of ultimate bliss. It is Sakyamuni Buddha who initiates the narrative about the wonders of the Pure Land of ultimate bliss. Additionally, the sutra has the highest number of disciples listed, denoting their participation as audiences of the Dharma lecture. Apart from bodhisattvas, the 16 arhats are depicted and named, beginning with Sariputra and Maudgalyayana, to others such as, is this Chuda Pantaka?
Yes.
These names are not simply a roster nor a list of attendees, but rather an indication of their presence and significance in relation to the sutra. How so?
So before we move on, right, there's already the practice. So the previous paragraph, it tell us this is a beautiful land, a land of blissfulness, and that's because of the vow of Amitabha Sutra, Amitabha Buddha. So Amitabha means boundless. It's called the Da Yuan Wang, the Buddha of the Great Vow. So it had the Buddha has made 48 vows while he was practicing the Bodhisattva path towards Buddhahood. So the 48 vows has made him the Buddha of boundless longevity and boundless light, 无量光,无量寿. So that's how he attained the Buddhahood or attained the Amitabha Buddha to become. So these are his practice. And the Venerable Master Xing Yun pointed out, right, that we need 善根福德因缘. So how do we nurture our wholesome roots and meritorious causes and conditions? So this and who else have done it? So that is Amitabha make the vow that he built the Pure Land. Who can go to the Pure Land, right? So we look up the checklist, how to get there. Is very much like if we want to enroll in a school. So we get our documents ready before we sign up, right? So there is, right, as mentioned in this few paragraph in the first half of the articles, there are the 37 factors of enlightenment, 37道品. And when you break it down, we actually know all of this. We know the 4 mindfulness, we know the 4 diligence, so on, right? And this and the 8 noble path, right? So on top of that, and everything else kind of elaborate on these 37 factors. So say, for example, the 3 provisions. When we talk about the Amitabha Pure Land, there will be no doubt. No doubt such as, is it true there's a Pure Land? No such doubt. Faith in Amitabha practice or the Pure Land practice is, I believe there is a Pure Land. And I believe I can get to the Pure Land. I will be reborn there, I believe. So there would be no second thought. It's only one single thought. I vow. I have to make sure that this is my goal. Vow means this is my goal. There's nowhere else to go but the Pure Land. And the practice, again, reiterate that we cannot just think about it and we cannot just having in our head, having all the thought in our head, but we have to put it into actions to nurture our wholesome roots and meritorious causes and conditions to get there. So you will already know the 10 wholesome root, the 3 good, 3 acts of goodness, or we can expand that. Usually, we expand that to the 10 wholesome deed, 10善业. And again, we see that being repeated again further, the worry merit, the merit from upholding the precepts so that we are protected from bad doings or wrongdoings, and merit from practicing bodhisattvahoods towards Buddhahood. Bodhisattvahoods means always serve, or the other terms Venerable Master Xing Yun use, always give, to give. Bodhisattva means 摄善法界,劳逸有情界. So we always share that with others. We always be ready to serve. Then single-mindedly chant. No other thought, but very focused in the 6 character, Namo Amitofo, Namo Amitofo. So Next, may we have the next volunteer to read? You just have to unmute.
I can read.
Thank you, Shilasa.
The first to be mentioned in the Amitabha Sutra is Sariputra, who is the foremost in wisdom, which implies that the teaching is not intended for the ignorant. Because of his tremendous wisdom, Sariputra is able to discern the state of a place 10 trillion Buddha lands away. Next, the sutra mentions Moggallana, who through his super knowledge is able to locate the Western Pure Land of ultimate bliss within the universe. Furthermore, naming Kudapantaka signifies that even those who are not intelligent could be reborn in the Pure Land of ultimate bliss as long as they chant the name of Amitabha Buddha diligently. The disciples' names symbolize the fact that the Pure Land of ultimate bliss includes inhabitants from all three levels of aptitude. Whether monastic or laity, all are eligible to go there if the requirements are met. In addition to the 16 arhats, a few bodhisattvas are mentioned as well, including Ganhadastin Bodhisattva, Nityojukta, Constant Diligence Bodhisattva. They serve as a reminder that the practice of Pure Land cultivation and chanting the Buddha's name requires consistent effort. Through the representatives of arhats and bodhisattvas, we can see the affinities between the sutra and our society and the practice of humanistic Buddhism.
Thank you. So again, right, in this Amitabha Sutra, so one thing that we want to know is in the first paragraph, Buddha is very good in telling us who are they, where are we, and why are we doing this. So it have a very good orientations before he start preaching. We call that the sixth achievement, 六成就, to make sure that this Dharma assembly is possible. And in today's assembly, that Zoom and our lead, Erwin Jisi and Yu Hui Fa Shi, has to 发起了. That means those who are assisting for making sure that this is happening. And in the Dharma service, that will be those, say in Dabei Chan, it will be the Chanju. And if it is, say, a regular group cultivations or Gongxiu, then we have those who Da Zai to make sure that, and who Gong Hua Gong Guo to prepare the shrine for the Dharma assembly to happen. So these are the people that would be enlist. And because they are the lead, they kind of make the vow to follow the Amitabha Buddha teaching so that they could attend and be able to share. Again, right, being practicing like a bodhisattva, we have to share it and we have to serve it, serve others. So a lot of the 10 disciple is among the 16 arahat that was mentioned, and the 6 others are known. So we can look it up. And these are the disciples that has always been following the Sakyamuni Buddha. And because they are so close to Sakyamuni Buddha, when Buddha talk about the Western Pure Land or the ultimate bliss Pure Land, that they are naturally the practitioners. They listen and they 信依教奉行, they 欢喜 receiving the teaching happily and practicing it willingly and practicing it without hesitations in everyday's doing. So we will look that up, or you will look that up, the Arahat and the Bodhisattva that were mentioned. But the 2 others that we have always wants to know, one is 常不轻菩萨, one is 常精进菩萨. Towards the end of the paragraph. So these are the 2 bodhisattvas that are known to take care of the earth, the mother earth. 常不轻菩萨, 常精进菩萨. Only when we are diligence to uphold good thought, 提起正念, 精进. Pusa, then we could have one focused mind. Then we could only have one thought. That was why it was being mentioned, and it was being emphasized again by Venerable Master Xing here. Okay. So who are in the Pure Land, other than those who are enlists that are practicing? That means they travel between the Western Pure Land and the human world constantly, in and out, because they are delivering the sentient being. So I want to bring this painting or drawing out, because we notice that the Buddha is radiating lights onto the monk and also the lay people kneeling down. And these are the people that are we call being reborn, right? At the moment of leaving this world and being reborn in the Western Pure Land, that significant moment. There are only two significant moments that refers by the Buddha: being born and dying at the moment of death. There's anything else outside these two stage of life, then it's not so significant anymore, right? So at this moment of dying, that they receive Jie. That's why in the great Buddha land of Fogangshan headquarters, we have Jie for. How do we know that the Buddha is coming to receive you to the Pure Land, and not coming to teach you to meditate so that you can stay in the human world? How do you know that? He's coming to receive you and not coming to teach you so that you can continue to stay.
Oh, how?
How do you know?
I'm asking you, how?
I thought that was my question. You look at the Buddha hand sign. So when the Buddha is here, your time is here, that the Buddha will be receiving you, then the hand sign will be Jie for, right? It received. So this is follow my hand sign. I will be receiving you in the Pure Land. And if the Buddha is teaching, that means that you have so much to learn that you will have to stay in the human world. Then that is xiang mo, right? You have to conquer your Mara, or you meditate so that you clear your head out and be able to again conquer the Mara. So that's why we say that we have to always be ready. And the moment of that is described as a moment of, say, you felt so much love, that you felt so calm, that there's no fear, because the Buddha is shining lights on you, and you know where exactly you're going. Again, the frequency has to be right. It's like a radio station. Venerable Hui Kai would always say that is you have to get online. Your internet, that your internet signal has to be on the same frequency as the Western Pure Land Amitabha Buddha, so that it's connected online. It has to be online to be reborn. So you notice who are the two bodhisattvas beside Amitabha. One is holding the
Anjin?
Kuan Yin is
bodhisattva, the one holding the velo, and the other one is
Tasiti Pusa?
and holding the lotus. So one representing wisdom and the other compassion. So Buddha, again, full enlightened one, will always be full of compassion and wisdom, and accompanied by beings that have the same quality or the same virtues, and always be together. So who else will be coming to receive you? So you will know at the moment of dying that you will not be lost. So who else are there? So there are a lot of bodhisattva, 诸善善人, and will be coming to receive us. So it will again make feeling very calm, feeling very joyous, and feeling very assuring. This is the moment of rebirth. Okay, And music, you will sometimes you hear music, but mainly you see lotus. Okay. Next paragraph, another volunteer.
Peter, you want to read?
Okay.
The Amitabha Sutra may be considered a masterpiece of philosophical writing, the most beautiful international travel book, or even the blueprint for an ideal country. In any case, the social problems of our world do not exist in Pure Land of ultimate bliss, where people enjoy carefree lives, treat one another with equality and friendship, and coexist in harmony and happiness. Such a beautiful society is what we all long for. Because of this, only the Amitabha Sutra has had the biggest impact on local social cultural development since the 3 sutras and 1 commentary of the Pure Land school spread into China. As the saying goes, there is an Amitabha Buddha in every family and a Guanyin Bodhisattva in every household. Likewise, whether young or old, Buddhist or not, the phrase Amitofo is frequently spoken as everyone shares the ideal of a paradisiacal Buddha land.
Thank you. So this is now, right? Venerable Master Xing Yun is giving his thought. So Western Pure Land is an ideal place, or sometimes we call the paradise. So the ultimate bliss, and it's existing. It's not made up because people or practitioners, emerald monk and lay people has been there. And they came back to tell us the story, or people beside them when they are being reborn. The moment just before they will be reborn, they are also people witnessing the auspicious sign for Western rebirth. And so Venerable Master Xing Yun, he has always said that since Yilan, for almost 70 years now, that he has been doing Da Fo Qi. We always say the Buddhist retreat as Da means I strike, I hit until it's gone, striking. That our bad striking the bad thought or striking the distracted, polluted, defilements thought. And so, and when we are retreat, whether it's in Buddha's Pure Land chanting retreat or in the meditations retreat, the purpose is so that no distracted thought or distracted thought would transform. And that we could use compassion and wisdom as our means, and we can grow. We can grow from holding back our actions, holding back our words, and holding back our thought, the 6 organs. Then the concentrative meditations would grow at the same time, wisdom grow, because we get to see things, or we get to see causes and conditions effect in a much clearer way. So Da Fo Qi, Venerable Master Xing Yun has many story that he has been sharing with us. Did you see that? In front of the Buddha, he offered lotus other than the flower. He also offered the bun, the soul out, because Fo Qi is usually being held around Amitabha Buddha birthday. So he said that for almost 60 years, that he would have 1 week of Buddha's chanting retreat. And the people, because it has been such a long time, over a long period of time, that people in Yilan would always make it back to Yilan wherever they would be for that retreat. So that is one. So Venerable Master Xing Yun has been doing it for a long time. And so the ban that we offer to the Buddha. And if you were at Jue Fa Shi talk last week or 2 weeks ago, that you heard her saying that after Venerable Master Xing Yun's surgery, after Sifu's surgery in 2016, that December, so he would a year after that December or that October, so a year after that he would come out in that early morning breakfast sections and told Hui Chuan Fa Shi that everyone will get a steam bun for Amitabha Buddha birthday, and all around the world, us at the temple are also receiving that steam bun, hot steam bun from Venerable Master Xing Yun. So this is a one thing that we want to remember him for, his diligence in practicing the chanting. Then every time when he talk about chantings, because he has been precising over the chanting for many decades, he said that by the end of the sections, even though the retreat would already be gone, but then his mind would be so clear that the four still way round, that the Buddha's name is still being linked in his head. So everyone, when people are speaking, it sounds like Amitabha Buddha's name. Voice are also Amitabha's Buddha's name. So mind, or the six senses, the six faculties become very clear. He mentioned that it was so clear that even though he was in the other building in Chuanden Road, in his office, right, Fa Tang in the Dharma hall, that someone talking in the 事务处水佛场. So that was like 2 buildings apart, but so that was the auspiciousness of chanting the Buddha with a pure heart. And the other thing that wants to know is that Venerable Master Xing Yun, when he said that if you would want to have things to happen, you have to do it yourself first. That's why after his passing, the disciple has been writing what we have learned from Venerable Master Xing Yun Sen Jiao, teachings from himself. So the first teaching from himself, he said that people like to talk in a man's shrine. To make sure that people do not do that, would be keeping the shrine solemn and a place of peace. So he would be sitting right in front of the Buddha, meditating before the service would start. So he would just be sitting there. So when the devotee come in and saw Sifu is already sitting down, meditating, being very quiet, then everyone else just silently came in and sit down and following him. So that was his way to teach by doing it himself. So another note for the parents, I guess, or for teachers. Then a lot of auspiciousness has also been happened during the chanting. If you remember, I know, Peter. Sir Peter, you would know from Huizhong Si. You know the story of the Viranachaya Buddha, right? Eyes, you want to say that so that we hear another voice?
I wasn't there when that happened. I only had to ask, so I wasn't.
But you hear the story many times.
Actually, I've heard it mentioned. I never knew what happened, but I think last year or 2 years ago, I finally asked someone, like, so what are they talking about? But because I wasn't there, and I didn't witness myself, so I don't really exactly know what happened.
But I think good things will just spread on. It's just like a lot of people say, oh, have you been to the Pure Land? But many people have been. And so we will continue to spread the words. The Viranachaya Buddha at Huizhongsi, being enshrined in Huizhongsi right now, came from Yilan. A lot of devotees have a close connection with it, because in Yilan, you know, Venerable Master Xing Yun, when he first arrived in Yilan at a very young age, he has already started in Hui, right? So you see how powerful he is in spreading the Dharma or gathering
Teacher, you
people.
got frozen.
I
Can you
got
repeat? Yeah.
he has organized the children to run children's chanting sections, associations for the 8 of those in the county of Yilan. So they are sister bringing their baby brother or siblings to attend. So they would be cumulative, lumbering around the shrine. And so chanting the Buddha's name has been very auspicious ever since Venerable Master Xing Yun arrived in Yilan. Hence, they say, it was said that the Buddha being enshrined, which is now in Huizhongsi, a lot of people were chanting, or during that sections, they see that the Buddha opened the eyes. So Buddhas are usually like 70% closed and 30% open, because it symbolizes compassionately looking onto, shedding the lights of comfort. 慈悲, then and the Buddha opened the eyes. It's like so big and bright, and that's why that Buddha has been very special to the people of Yilan. And why is it in Huizhongsi? That's because before the high-speed train, Taichung is the midpoint for resting. So those who travel, the devotees on a train ride or mostly bus ride, if they would be going to the headquarters in Kaohsiung, they would stop midway for lunch or for a short break, for tea. And again, they would always do that in Huizhongsi, because the Buddha or the Buddha that they are close to is there. 感应的佛祖 is there. Okay. So very auspicious from the chanting of the Buddha's name, and Venerable Master Xing Yun has led that for a long time. So here is our last paragraph, or our last section. May we have another volunteer?
Can I read it, Master?
Please, please.
From a humanistic Buddhist perspective, the Amitabha Sutra teaches that we can be reborn in the Pure Land of ultimate bliss if we live our lives according to the Buddha's teachings, do good deeds, speak good words, think good thoughts, have harmonious interpersonal relationships, embrace and respect others, and be hardworking and diligent. Moreover, we can benefit the community and help others by emulating any of the 16 Arhat strengths, as long as we make aspirations and vows. The Pure Land is within our reach. Be aware, however, that anyone who does not fulfill these prerequisite conditions for rebirth or does not meet the Pure Land of ultimate bliss standards of upholding natural beauty, societal harmony, and scenic beauty will be denied entry, especially if they do not cultivate diligently or get along well with others. This is the equivalent of being turned down by the country to which one seeks to emigrate due to lack of funds or unmet requirements. Furthermore, anyone whose previous unwholesome karmas of killing, stealing, and sexual misbehavior have not been eradicated will also be refused entry. It is just as a person with a heavy debt cannot flee to another location and expect to avoid legal or moral repercussions. These points are worthy of deep contemplation inquiry, and investigation.
So I think that this paragraph, if you heard about 九品莲花, when we are doing the Amitabha chanting, we always vows to be reborn in the lotus bud. And the best is our lotus would be in full blooms when we would arrive, when we arrive in the Pure Land. One other note, right? What if you did not get on the lotus? Then is there a midway between the human world and the lotus? It become very dangerous, right? If it's called a 会合, but really it meant that you wasn't sure. To be there at the Pure Land, it has to be faith, right? There is a vow and there is a practice, so it cannot go outside this framework. And so we have to start nurturing all the kindness, so that when Venerable Master Xing Yun would say that if we did not nurture all of the wholesomeness and the merits, then even if we would be reborn in the Pure Land, we would not be able to stay very long, because we are not used to kindness around us. So we have to start, right? We have to start doing it. So Venerable Master Xing Yun would be saying this line. That you remember the song, "Where is the Pure Land?" Well, you will ask again, sing. It's true, right? It's true that the Venerable Master Xing Yun has always want to remind us that the Pure Land would not appear unless we work hard diligently. That was exactly why there is the 37 factors of enlightenment, or 37 factors of reaching the Pure Land. And the Pure Land is nowhere, not anywhere else, but it's right here, right? It's right here where we are. Whether it further state that it's right here in our heart. When the heart is pure, the mind is pure, then the land is pure, because it is from the external circumstances, or the external visions come from the projections of our heart. So one important line that how do we make it happen? I think it's a very strong line that Venerable Master Xing Yun has always been saying. 不要让阿弥陀佛为我们报恩. So that means, in English, do not let Amitabha be the one who repaying our debts. So we have to take care of ourselves, and we have to nurture diligently for our good going after. We cannot just ask or request, like begging for it. We have to work hard for it and be responsible for it. So that was what it meant. I want to mention that the 9 level of rebirth in the Pure Land. So it depends on how pure we can uphold it. Again, go back to the practice that was already mentioned. How pure we uphold our precepts. So it starts with our bodily actions, our words, and our thought. So only when we can, if you would say master or control our own self, then the external destruction would not be deluding us anymore. So we are very clear in what we do based on the principle of the Buddha's teaching of righteousness, and hence it would, out of this, from the precept, we grow concentrations, and hence we have wisdom. It's almost happening at the same time. You can refer back maybe the one time that you felt that you could make a decisions, but when you follow your heart based on the Buddha's teaching or the Buddhist principle, then it becomes very clear. You can see the clear relationships between the cause, the conditions, and the effect, and there will be no second thought, or there will be no regret. And if you were given the same situations again, I felt that is always on the path of righteousness, or the path of bodhisattvahood and enlightenment. That is from the PPT. And before we open it up for discussions, I'd like to share with you, because right now in Fawangsan, we have 2 Silk Road being on exhibit. One is the Maritime Silk Road, the theme of research with Dr. Lancaster, maritime, so the seaway. And the other exhibit right now is the most item being exhibited from Tôn Hoàng, 120 of this, and never seen such a big load before, but it's happening in Buddha Museum. The Tôn Hoàng Silk Road. And so a lot of impressive things, and one of it is I have seen the Pure Land. Not just the painting on the mural was being bring to Fawangsan, but the animations of it. And also in Buddha Museum that I have, that was maybe 5 years ago before the pandemic, I watched the musical of the Silk Road that was being presented by one of the research and performing arts group of Gansu. So I want to share that with you, because if we would say 经变图, the graphic presentations of the sutra, and Tôn Hoàng has one of the best collections of many, over 1,050 years of artists and practitioners who was doing it. Okay, so I hope you can hear the music. The painting at the back is from Tôn. And you see that in the Pure Land, there are dancer or chorus of music, and those are dancers with the Pablo. He's the Bodhisattva. Anyways, 这样子是什么意思呢？没有声音，美学中没声音，美学中起不光是那在旁边啊。So the point is, right, from the mural 1,500 years ago, and you see that they put it on the background screen, right? And so it become very clear now that there are the birds, there's the lotus pond, and they are the beings, and they are the offerers. So what do people do in the Pure Land? See, they dance and they sing, and they offer, they listen to the Buddha's teaching. So this is a non-mural. You see the center dancer is playing the pipa. It's called a fan tan pipa that she play from the back of holding the pipa from the back. So yeah, so I just want to mention that how Buddhist inspired art and music was being presented in this way. Okay, so we will. This is the sections on the reading. Anyone want to share your experience with the Amitabha chanting?
Fu, I have a question. Not because of experience with the Amitabha chanting. What will happen when I see like this instead of like this?
You continue to chant the Buddha's name.
So that means I have to be reborn, right? I don't go to the Pure Land, right? If I see
It
this.
just means you have to continue to practice. Not time yet,
Oh.
but you will know, right? It's just like you will know what you're supposed to do when the time is here.
Okay.
We have to be very confident in we call it the sixth sense, but really is our spiritual consciousness.
Okay.
Well, see, Erwin Jesus has another suggestion. Don't worry, you just go to Fo San.
Sifu, I have a question.
Yes, Mission Ziji, our president.
What if a criminal who happened to kill someone, but he really repented for the next half of his life? Everything he did is really good deeds. He followed everything what we read tonight. So what's gonna happen at the end? He won't be able to go to Pure Land still?
I felt that many of us here online has asked the same questions to our answer many times before. Anyone want to speak to that? I think it's a quiz questions because Kathy Suje already has the answer. Anyone who wants to maybe share your thoughts? How about people that have done lots of bad things?
Because
Would we be
know,
seeing them in the Pure Land?
like Shifu, personally, I'm not a saint. I've had so many wrongdoings. So just by reading that part, if I focus only on that part that says that if you have done this, you still cannot go to the Pure Land. So how's that?
I will break this first, right? And then everyone else can share your thought. In the Amitabha Sutra, actually there are three, Jing Tu San Jing, and sometimes we would refer there are five, Jing Tu Wu Jing. So when we study the Pure Land, it's not just Amitabha Pure Land, but we also have a Guan Wu Liang Shou Jing, right? And these are the five sutra. When we put it together, that it presents to us how we should be truly practicing the Western Pure Land way. So one of it that is said, we can 带业往生. So those beings who make the vow, just like all of us, whether it's a small bad thing or a big bad thing, that means a small bad deed or a big bad deed that we are carrying with us, anyone, if you repent fast enough or right enough, then before your karmic effect would take into would come into account, then your vow would already bring you towards the rebirth. Did you hear that? The power. Well, a lot of this thing, if we talk about time, it really happened maybe at the same time, but the vow is important, right? because karmic effect is what has been done. We can lighten it, we can repent, and we can maybe shorten the times that it would be being retributed. And Amitabha did say that in one of his 48 vows. Whoever, even if you have like bad, very bad, the worst karma, and if you make the vow, you can be reborn in my pure land. That's why he's called the Great Vow Buddha. So yes. But then, right, given that was being said, anyone else have any thought about that?
Before,
Yes.
I remember asking the same question to one of the master. If I'm not mistaken, it was Ru Sing Pasa.
Yes.
She said, you may be reborn in the Western Pure Land, but sometimes our karmic seed is so strong, so we still end up going through the karmic effect. For example, I don't know, if you kill someone, you come back and get killed, or I don't know what's the karmic effect, but you still, even if you're enlightened already from the Pure Land, you go through the effect, especially if it's heavy.
There is one other criteria that also in the sutra, right? What just Irvin Jesus has been saying is we would have to retribute the karma because in order for us to be reborn in the Pure Land, we have to at the same time, it's like a combo. I want to go to Pure Land, it comes with the vow that I will be reborn back to the human world. 趁愿再来 is part of the vow. So when I say I want, say for example, when I say I want dinner, so it comes with rice, soup, the vegetables. It's a combo. I cannot just say I want dinner and then there is only rice. So when I say I want to be reborn in the Pure Land, that also at the same time means that I'm diligently cultivating my wholesomeness and also my merit. Then at the same time, I'm making the vow that I will be reborn. I will be coming back. 趁愿再回来. So when do you exit the Pure Land? Right? I think Irving Jesus, that's when we say, when is the right time to come back?
So, Shifu, so it is a misconception that when people say I pray that I go, like if I'm gone, I'm gonna go to the Western Pure Land. So it's a misconception that when you reach the Western Pure Land, you're there forever. It's just like a staging point. You really come back, right? The only way that you exit the Pure Land and not be reborn is when you are Buddha, right?
Yeah, so again, right, that's another important thought or concept. So all Buddha got enlightened in the human world. So yes, if you want to exit really, then the vow is to come back to here, so that you are fulfilling your vows of attaining the Buddhahood.
So this is in relation to the Dasa Bhumika, where it was reminded to us also, right? Those who attend that one, that you have to come back as a bodhisattva, you still have to come back one more time, then go, right? On the
Come back and pay
7th.
your debts.
No, not come back to pay your debts. You come back to perform your compassion to the sentient beings, right? Before you move up, like the 7th, right?
Yes,
Correct? Mm.
yes, until you reach the 8th or the 退转. But when the Dharma Dasa Bhumika This is the practice of bodhisattvahood.
So I have another question. Because I came from a Protestant school, so I got mixed up because Protestant, if you kill someone, no matter what how bad the things you have done before, as long as the end of your life, you repent, you still go to heaven. So how do you explain this? How is it different from our Buddhism?
Only from Buddhist perspective, because a Buddhist perspective, even though we say that we can repent and make the vow so that we can be reborn in the Pure Land. Again, right? We don't. The Pure Land is just a place that we continue to cultivate. When we read the Amitabha Sutra, we have to continue to nurture our conditions so that it would be right for us to come back again, to continue to serve and practice, to enhance our to proceed towards our Buddhahood. And so the one is the Pure Land. The Pure Land is a place of practice. It's not a destination, or it's not a destiny. It's not the final place. It's not the final stage. Unless we build our own Pure Land, right? Upon attaining the Buddhahood. So that's one. Then the number two, can repentance help me to purify my karma? And that's yes. So we have done a lot of things, right? If it wasn't for the only very bad karmic happening was the cousins of the Buddha, right? He never done so many bad things to kill the Buddha, and that was the one time when he was doing that. His karmic effect is right where it's not even the time. It's just happens so naturally. It's like maybe the apple falling down from the tree. So he falls straight to hell. So there are so many bad things that could happen, and there are so many ways of it being retributed to people or beings that the beings has to pacify, that we have to pacify our own coming. But yet we can lighten it with a sincere mind. Right? When we are sincere in, say, the word is right, repentance. That means I'm not going to do it again. And I'm taking full responsibility of what I have done and what I will be doing after. So when we come and think about it, if I'm not letting myself going back to who I am, right? Because I repent. The purpose of repentance is I'm moving forward and I'm getting better, and I want to do good, and I felt that I have hurt. So then on this thought, along this thought and along this principle of practice, is actually very difficult to do bad things again, because one will only continue to uplift oneself morally. And when we have the right moral or the proper moral, then again, meditative concentration grow together with wisdom. So that that person, if it is a sincere repentance and a sincere practice according to the Buddha's way, no one or no one thought will do that same bad things again. I'm not sure if it's right. So how does the Christian explain it? Then they might have their way of practicing, getting right. But this is the Buddhist way of doing it.
Maybe that's the reason why a lot of Christians do more bad things than Buddhists.
Because it's easier. Atikati, because it that kind of redemption in the Christian faith, it seems to be easier to attain to reach to gain forgiveness. It's easier, but it's like ignorance, you know. It seems easier, so they feel like it's safer to go that route. But if they really read the Bible, there's also a verse there where Jesus in the gospel said that at the time of judgment, the wheat and the weeds will be separated. The sheep and the lambs will be separated. So if they continue to ignore and think that they can keep doing bad deeds, and at the end of it and just say, I believe in Jesus and I'll go straight to heaven, they're only fooling themselves. And this is where what Buddha says about being ignorant comes into play. You know, when you fool yourself into a safety thing where eventually, di ba, you would find out when you're dead and you're already like seeing this, right? And you have to be reborn, because as Ruwan explained to us also a few classes back, that in the Christian faith, there's only one heaven. In Buddhism, we learn of several layers of heaven, right? And several layers of hell. And in Christianity, there's also a difference. The Protestants do not believe in a purgatory. And this is why Catholics and the Buddhists seem to understand each other, because the Catholic Christians have a purgatory. And the purgatory is kind of like us getting reborn and going through stages of retribution. That's why they have people praying for the souls also of their dead loved ones that may have ended up in purgatory. Because the Catholic Christians also believe that when we are alive, even if we repent, we still have sins we carry, the seeds we carry, and we still need to go through purgatory. Only the Protestant Christians go with this thing about you just receive Jesus as your Lord and Savior, and bam, you're in heaven.
No,
You know, that's again ignorance fooling the self. And this is why I really appreciate learning Dharma, because everything I have learned so far is helping me actually live out what Jesus has been teaching in the gospel about being of love, of unconditional love, and of compassion, and giving ease and joy to people, and to treat my brothers as myself. So they actually, if ano yan eh, kasi it's about wealth. They have a term for that. It's like a wealth faith. Like you come here, you are promised wealth and safety. Parang instant like that. So it's ignorance breeding ground. Yeah.
Thank you. So, anything that you want to add on?
No. That's all. That's all. Clearly said.
Can I also say something?
Yes, there is
In my personal opinion, not just one Amitabha, you will go immediately to the Pure Land. It cannot be just one. There are prerequisites. Can you chant 10,000 times a day? Okay, yeah. When before you die, you repent your sins. Yes, you will be redeemed. At least you can be redeemed because you know you are wrong, right? But then you need all those connections. You have to connect with Amitabha for a long time. There should be established connection. Diba? Hindi basta-basta ng one click, agad connect with her.
Yes. He will tell you who you.
There should be the sin yuan xing ma. Oh, you believe, and then you will have your vow and you do it. Okay, hindi siya one click na you can go right away. Still, there is a law of karma to follow. Though you are meant to be redeemed because you know you are wrong.
Auntie Luisa, even Jesus said that.
Hmm?
He said that at the time that you die, or even during the parang judgment day, there really is a reckoning. So not every Christian that declares themselves saved are really saved. Kasi it's the intent, the sincerity.
Yes.
Yeah.
True.
So false teachers abound. So let's just be very wise enough to go with the, you
True.
know, good affinities.
Sometimes the Bible may be people read it differently,
Correct. Yeah.
understand it differently.
Yes. And they preach it also erroneously. So
Yeah.
ignorance builds on ignorance.
Yeah. They have their own ibang different versions that could mislead. Huh?
That's why Buddha is very wise when he tells us that ignorance is a poison. So we really have to know what we are believing or what we are also teaching.
True. It's really a poison. Delicado.
Oh, Peter's raising his hand.
If I were to understand what you guys said, my interpretation is that you can't just in the end say you want to go and you want to go. But I think maybe in circumstances you can, because as I posted Amitabha's 48 Great Vows, the 18th Great Vow did say, at the end of your death, when time is up for your life is to be over, if you do recite his name 1 to 10 times, then you will be reborn. So it is there, it is possible. So yeah, it's not impossible, it is possible. But of course, the chance of you doing that is circumstantial, it depends on your causes and conditions. Will there be someone that is 诸上善人, like, right? Do you have good karma, good wholesome friends that will teach you this teaching? And if I could actually ask okay, this is kind of a personal thing for me that I've been thinking about asking a venerable, but I might as well ask you guys. So my friend has cancer, and he had everything was going well, but recently the cancer has spread. Now he's been one of my best friends for 20 years. He's not a religious person. He hates religion, and he's very stubborn. And as a Pure Land practitioner, and I know that his time is coming up, whether this year or next year, or probability is that he will go before I do. And I'm just thinking, do I tell him about Amitabha on his deathbed, that there is it's a Pure Land for him to go to, but knowing that he's the type of person that doesn't believe in this stuff. So maybe in his deathbed he will believe, but I'm also fearful that, like for some, you have to give people a peace of mind when they go. Maybe he believes that, this is the end of his existence and he's very happy. And who am I to tell him that, hey, there's another world, there is an afterlife? And I'm really conflicted. This is my best friend that I love so dearly. Do I tell him or do I not tell him? I'll see how it goes, but I'm not too stressed about it because I'm pretty sure when he does go, I'll write his name for San Sicilian every year and he'll have to come chant with me. So I'm not too worried about it. But it's an interesting thought that I had, like, do I tell him even though I know there's a way for him to go there? Thank you.
Shifu, if like that in Peter's case, we are in command of certain insights. If we do not share because we feel like we may cause him more pain, right? Or cause him anguish when he's already very okay, right? That's where you're at, Peter, correct? With your friend. But if we know the truth and we don't share it because we fear we may cause him harm, are we going against our bodhisattva vow, Shifu?
Four mode, right? The four mode of bodhisattva is that you have to say I and 同事, so that you have to say good words, words of encouragement, and words that can be easily accepted and being very helpful to the others. That's part of bodhisattva practice, and that's why it's also referring to be skillful means. That means bodhisattva is smart enough to decide what to say and when to say what. Maybe any one of us are like counseling. This is actually a counseling concern, isn't it? I think counsel said the clinical counselor or the psychology counselor, or maybe I think in the medical term is called a ontologist. That is not a one section thing. We cannot come out and say that. Almost impossible, I felt. You come out and say to your very sick, dear family or friends who are non-Buddhists and very devoted other religions or Christian, that you say there's a Pure Land that you can go to. I think it's not, maybe not in one section, that it might have to ease him into the idea why he wants to see you again in Pure Land.
But how can it be done, like, let's say you visit your friend and you just have like a conversation, just a normal conversation, and inject some of the topics? Can it be like that? Just so
Yes,
that you
have to be
gauge
very consistent.
where your friend is at. And then if he starts discussing, and then you can do the back and forth.
When they have no other, when they are in fear, then I think that's when they need Amitabha, or they need to see there's hope, that they would receive light and longevity blessing from Amitabha. So when they are in fear, and I think you will know if the patient need that. Because you have known them maybe a whole life, so you will know you can help to prepare them. One way of doing that is you can say, I was talking to so and so, and they mentioned that, as if you are telling a story, not really to tell him, but retelling a story. Right.
Chapo, you got frozen when you mentioned as if you're telling a story.
Yeah, to pretty much that. So in one way is that you are telling a story. So not as if you are telling him a Pure Land, but it's more like I'm telling him a story, so that he get to hear it too.
Okay.
I think the Amitabha Buddha story is very exciting, and it's very gentle and comforting, because it's full of happiness. And I figure for people who are sick, they just need words of encouragement.
Yes. Because Shifu, I want to share, no? A niece of mine got to join Blea this year ba yun, at Chikati, si Mary Jean, because she got very sick last year. And so mommy and I taught her the medicine Buddha. And then she shared with us that every time she'd pray the medicine Buddha, she's Catholic. She'd pray the medicine Buddha, she felt a certain calm. And then so slowly, I said, there's no pressure on you. If you want to come, listen, join us. And so it took a while, but she came and joined us. Yeah. And then now her daughter's also joining through the arts, the Sunday arts. So, little by little, in certain way.
So we are offering the opportunity, but not like
Not forcing, yeah.
yeah. So skillful mean, I think it has to play out well. And I think when the
This Mara, Erwin. They're Mara, freezing
you
Shifu.
might have already told them. You might have already told them about the Pure Land, and that seed has already been planted.
Maybe Peter, you can ask him, your friend, do you know where you're going to? Do you want to go to somewhere? Do you have an idea where do you want to go from here? And then tell the story. I mean, let's say, just like telling a story, how does the Pure Land look like? It's lined up with trees and birds singing. Well, he stops you and then you stop. And then you just tell a story about how beautiful the place is. Last night, my friend passed away. My good friend passed away from brain cancer. And then I was able to speak to her over the phone, messenger, 2 hours before she died. I know she is a Christian, so I didn't insist. I just said to her, whispered to her, I know she's half unconscious that time. And I told her that you're a beautiful and very sweet friend. And wherever you go, I know you will give joy to everyone. And then my best wishes to you, and we love you. That's it. And then after that, 2 hours after I talked to her, I speak to her, although I don't know if she heard me. And then her daughter texted me, she passed away already. So I prayed on my own. I prayed the Amitabha,还有那个往生咒给他，就这样子。
I think that your friend's also very lucky that he, like Louisa Sijie and also Peter Jesus has shared, right? That we'll write them the Chaojian Paiwei. So they will be feeling the energy coming from the temple, from the Buddha, wherever they will be. But of course, it comes from themselves, like the sutra always said, then they get 6 potions instead of just the one.
But Peter, how did your friend end up hating anything to do with religion? So maybe begin with that. What would have caused him to hate it? Any religion, right? Because Tashi said, what was that? No, wrong faith. No faith is better than wrong faith, but correct faith is better than no faith. So for him to end up with no faith, what happened?
I think it's just a very general idea in the West where religion has caused too much trouble across the world. You look at the Christian crusade, you look at the what's happening with Israel and Gaza. Especially people that haven't experienced religion and see the benefits of it, it's very easy just to keep focusing on those things because they see it doing more harm than good.
Master Miao Jing, I have a question about the 九品. Is it the different levels when you say 待业往生那种? Is it the different levels that you have to reach before you can actually be in the Pure Land already? Are you in the lotus or what?
The 九品, right, is where the enter point, the entrance point is the karma that we bring with us at the time of death. And when we enter the 九品or the 9th level, then it's pretty much when you arrive in a school, are you grade 1? There is a proficiency test, perhaps, if you would say, and that you are being sent to a certain level, and you continue to practice because Amitabha Buddha is speaking the Dharma, and we are practicing the Dharma by every day going out to the other Pure Lands and making offerings and coming back to nurture or to cultivate the practice of the chanting and the purifications of the karma, and so we can continue to uplift our grade. All right, it's 9:30. I saw a few questions on the chat that we might or might not have worked it out, but I will post it, and I figure the questions that we have thought of, maybe we could get a better understanding of this matter of life and death. So please register if you could not make it to USC on April the 20th in Cebu. It is being live streaming through that registration's QR code. For Manila, those of you who are in Manila, then April the 18th is that we will be meeting, is that when we will be meeting Venerable Miao Guang, 4 o'clock at Mawhai Temple. So thank you very much again for this evening, and may you be always being carefree and always filled with lights, and your lights will spread on to be a warm source to the others and people around you. 谢谢，阿弥陀佛，祝福你。We will do the transfer.
We'll do the transfer of merit.
Maybe while Liu Hui Fa is here and we are on Amitabha Sutra, we'll chant the Sutra of Buddha's name, or we'll transfer the merit.
I'll share screen for the transfer of merit.
Yes, please. Thank you for your time.
Thank you,
We'll see you next week.
Thank you for the
Thank you.
enlightening
Are you leading us
discussion.
next week also, Shafu?
I'll see you in Buddha Pure Land.
Oh, sure.
Mawhai Temple. 晚安，晚安。
Bye, good night.
Thank you.